Okay, I was looking for 1 3/16 steel tubing, square tubing. I found a whole bunch of it here. It's not even rusty, so someone must have delivered it not too long ago. But this will fit perfectly in there, and it nice thing is it's already cut pretty much to size. I don't even think I'm gonna have to trim a lot of these, so super happy. Okay, I'm out here Saturday, I don't know, it's probably noon, and as you can see behind me, I'm getting prepared to chop the top off this thing and raise it up. What I'm doing is I'm actually taking some of this glue off of here, because when I go to weld in the square tubing in here, you know, we've got to add some good clean metal, so I'm actually not doing that, my girlfriend's doing that. So anyway, she's grinding all this stuff down, getting it pretty clean like this so we can weld on. And then what I'm doing is doing the marking where I'm going to be doing the cuts. So basically I'm going to cut this section here right on the top of this straight up. That will be just underneath this bracing here. When we're done and the roof's up, I can always go in and weld in new pieces, or, you know, rivet in, or whatever I need to do. I'd have to put some bracing in there, of course, but same here, another cut line just underneath the bracing right there. And then up in the front, I've got this tape line here, and basically I'm just going to cut it right in the center, and then I'll trim later from pillar to pillar. And that'll be where, you know, the angle will be to the raised section of the roof. So anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and just cut right through all this stuff. It's not gonna make any difference at all. And just go right through the center, all the way across here. All the other side. Once those two cuts are complete, I'll come in here and I'll trim these 4 pillars right here that have the mechanisms on them. So I've got one there, I've got one right here, one there, and then one back up in the front. And they're not all the way at the edges. I'm actually cutting here, but I'm raising here with the mechanism, but I'm cutting up here. That just will make the center section a little more stable, having them a little more close together than all the way at the very ends. I don't want the roof to sag any. I think with the roundedness of this roof, it probably is not going to sag too much. It ought to be pretty structural just in the way it's designed. Okay guys, what I've done is I put some 4x4s on top of these jacks, and they go up to this rib section here. And what I'm hoping to do is use the jack to assist this in going up, so I can possibly just spin these up, you know, open by hand. I'm also leveling the bus out from side to side and front to back, just to make sure this roof goes up evenly. As you can see, the bubbles in the center here. And I just put the level on a good flat section of the bus. This is the front, and back here, done the same. So anyway, leveled it out. It's pretty darn close. And what I've done is these are just some camper jacks just to help stabilize. They don't necessarily lift any of the weight of this thing for sure, but they can just tweak the level just a little bit from side to side, and they've done a real good job of that. So they're stuck in here. Just on a bunch of 2x4s I had laying around just to gain some height in them. But anyway, just another step I'm taking to hopefully make sure this thing goes together well. Okay, we got the roof cut. When I cut the roof, this gap up here opened up to about a little over 1/2 inch. I've got it really nice right now, about 1/8 to 3/16 all the way across. The reason it did that was I had this shored up from the underneath side right here, right behind the wheels. So all the weight of the engine, the suspension, the whole front end of the bus basically sagged down a little bit. So I've jacked it back up and I've shored it up here just on 2 points. There's just a bunch of extra boards laying down here, but just shored the front back up so it's straight again. And you could actually, when you did it, you would raise it up and one side would be further than the other. So I've tried raising them out so this is planed out again correctly. You know, it actually moves quite a bit, so very important to get the bus leveled and shored up. The frame definitely flexes on this thing, and the body is definitely structural for this bus. Okay, I've got the front cut and I've got the rear cut. These are my cuts right here. They're not the prettiest, but that's okay. I'm going to be replacing all this with a big flat sheet of metal anyway. Getting rid of all the lights here. They'll go in a bumper. But anyway, there's my cut. It's cut all the way through, all the way around into here. I actually cut in this pen a little bit, but that's okay. And same way here. Left-handed, as you can tell. A little crooked, but it's all right. Like I say, I'll be replacing all that and then all the way through, so this is completely loose. So now what I'm going to do is move inside and start cutting the pillars where the jack mechanisms are. We'll cut those 4 and then move forward. Yay, first pillar cut. Second killer or pillar cut. Second killer is putt. Third pillar cut. Fourth pillar cut. Cut. Okay, we've got the bus up as high as I think I want to go. What I've done is made it so my 4-foot piece of sheet metal will fit right on top of this, basically this little bead, and we'll go to the center of that rivet row up here, right here, so in between these two rivets. So what that allows me to do now is just put a 4-foot section of sheet metal, since that's standard sizing, and I won't have to trim at all, you know, except the length. But the total distance that I've raised this now is 20 inches. So anyway, I'm looking at the height, the overall height of the bus itself. Here's the tape measure. So it's roughly 11 foot 4.5 inches. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm clamping the surface all the way tight this way, and that's what that does. It'll help align the bus, you know, forward and aft, and left to right all at the same time. So this is basically what I've done here. As I weld, I'll just move one and move it to the next one. So I've got 6 of these in place the way it is now, just to keep everything lined up pretty good. It's actually pretty sturdy, just with 6 of them in there, just clamped in. So anyway, I'm gonna get to welding these.